Imagine holding in your hand not just a piece of silver, not just a coin, but a hidden treasure that could change your life forever. What if I told you that inside dusty drawers, old boxes, or forgotten jars of change, there may be dimes worth more than a mansion, more than a lifetime of hard work, more than you could ever dream of? Yes, dimes, my friends. Small, shiny, unassuming Mercury dimes that the world once spent like pocket change, but today they have transformed into rare treasures, commanding jaw-dropping prices in auctions across America. Today, on True Coin Value, I'm going to take you on a journey into the mysterious and electrifying world of the top 10 ultra-rare and most valuable Mercury dimes. These are not just coins. They are relics of American history, whispers from a century ago, and treasures so rare that even millionaires fight over them in hushed auction halls. And here's the catch. I won't just reveal the coins. I will guide you through their history, their secrets, the mysteries that make them so rare, and finally, the shocking values that are making collectors' jaws drop worldwide. The prices are not just numbers, they are treasures in themselves. Stay with me till the end, because every second will bring you closer to uncovering a coin that could literally be worth a fortune. This is not hype, this is truth. And every coin I reveal is verified, valued, and demanded by collectors in today's auction market. What you're about to see may just change how you look at that jar of coins lying in your home forever. So buckle up, because once we start, there's no turning back. The first coin we reveal today is a stunner, a dime that once slipped through ordinary hands, but today could make you feel like you've found a hidden treasure chest. Let's begin. Coin number 1. The story begins in the year 1931, a time when America was struggling in the depths of the Great Depression. Every dime was precious back then, worth more than just silver. It was survival. Bread lines stretched across cities, jobs were scarce, and families held onto every coin they could. And in the middle of all this hardship, the U.S. Mint struck a very limited number of Mercury dimes in Philadelphia. Now, what makes this dime stand out is not just the era it came from, but the fact that it carries no mint mark. Unlike dimes minted in Denver or San Francisco, the Philadelphia mint coins of 1931 were few, and over time, most of them disappeared into circulation, lost to the melting pots of war or worn down into anonymity. Finding one today in extra fine condition is like unearthing a jewel from the ashes of history. Let's talk about its unique design. The Mercury Dime, officially known as the Winged Liberty Head Dime, features Lady Liberty wearing a winged cap, a symbol of freedom of thought. Many people confuse it with the Roman god Mercury, hence the nickname. On the reverse, you see a fasces, a bundle of rods tied together with an axe, a bold emblem of unity and strength, and an olive branch symbolizing peace. This dime wasn't just money, it was art, it was symbolism. It was America speaking to the world during one of its darkest chapters. But here's the secret that collectors obsess over. The 1931 no mint mark dime is one of the lowest mintage issues of the entire Mercury series. Only a small quantity ever left the mint, and over decades their numbers dwindled dramatically. So when a survivor appears in extra fine condition, with crisp details, sharp lines in the wings of liberty, and a reverse that still gleams with history, it becomes the object of fierce bidding wars. Collectors know this coin is more than just silver. It's a treasure of scarcity. Imagine walking into an auction hall where the air feels electric, collectors sit stiff in their seats, and the auctioneer holds up this tiny dime. The room falls silent. Everyone knows that what they're looking at is priceless history, a relic that can skyrocket in value as the years go by. And that's exactly what's happening right now. The market for the 1931 no-mint mark Mercury Dime in extra fine condition is red hot. Demand has never been higher, and every year its value surges like waves in a storm. The most recent verified auction price for this gem reached a staggering $95,000. Yes, you heard me right. $95,000 for a dime. This isn't fiction. This isn't exaggeration. This is truth. If you are lucky enough to have one of these, you don't just own a coin, you own a treasure chest in your pocket, a piece of American history that collectors crave with burning passion. And trust me, its value is only climbing. The coin market is alive, growing, and expanding, and treasures like this are becoming harder and harder to secure. For collectors, my advice is clear. If you ever come across a 1931 Mercury Dime without a mint mark in this kind of condition, do not hesitate. Authenticate it, protect it, and hold it tightly. Because in the years to come, what seems like an incredible price today could be dwarfed by future valuations. This is a coin that has proven itself in auctions again and again, and its journey is far from over. And here's the conclusion. The 1931 no-mint mark Mercury Dime is more than a coin. It is a time capsule of America's resilience, a rare survivor of history, and a treasure that commands respect, awe, and a price tag that can make anyone's heart race. If you're watching this channel, you now know the truth. True coin value delivers you the most faithful, up-to-date treasures from the coin world every single day. And this is just the beginning. The next coins on this list will shock you even more. Stay with me. Next up, our journey now takes us to the final year of the Mercury Dime series, the year 1945. By this time, the world had been consumed by the chaos of World War II. Soldiers were returning home. America was celebrating victory, and the nation was looking toward a brighter future. But in the middle of all this, the San Francisco Mint struck a coin that would later become one of the most electrifying treasures in American numismatic history. This is the 1945 Mercury Dime with the S mint mark, and let me tell you, its story is nothing short of astonishing. At first glance, it may look like just another Mercury Dime from the war era. But look closely, especially at the reverse side. Here, collectors often find mysterious brown spotting patterns. Far from being flaws, these dots are part of the coin's natural aging process, creating a unique fingerprint on every surviving piece. Each one becomes truly one of a kind, like a snowflake, like a treasure map etched in silver. And for collectors, that individuality only adds to its desirability. Let's step back to its history and design. By 1945, the winged Liberty head design had already become iconic. For nearly 3 decades, the Mercury Dime had carried symbols of freedom, thought, and unity across pockets and purses throughout America. The obverse, with Liberty's winged cap, whispered of liberty of mind, while the reverse, fasces, and olive branch symbolized America's strength in unity, balanced by peace. Struck in 90% silver and 10% copper, this coin was a reminder that even during wartime, artistry and meaning could still shine. Now here's where the story grows intense. The San Francisco Mint was known for smaller production runs compared to Philadelphia, and in 1945, that meant fewer dimes left the presses with the S mint mark on their reverse. Combine that with the fact that many were immediately absorbed into circulation, used in the everyday economy, passed hand to hand during the rebuilding years after the war, and you begin to see why so few remain today in well-preserved condition. And now imagine this, a 1945 S Mercury Dime in very fine condition, showing not only the beauty of its design, but also those brown spotting patterns on the reverse that make it unique. When this coin appears in the auction world, collectors don't just see silver. They see rarity, they see wartime history, they see a coin that tells a story unlike any other. The competition grows fierce, the bidding accelerates, and the price soars to staggering heights. This is where the suspense pays off. Because when one of these elusive treasures crosses the auction block, the hammer doesn't fall lightly. The most recent market confirmation places the value of the 1945 Mercury Dime in very fine condition with those distinctive reverse spotting marks at an astonishing $80,500. Yes, $80,500 for a single dime. Let that sink in. We are not talking about a handful of dollars or even a small collector's premium. We are talking about a fortune packed into a coin that once bought nothing more than a candy bar or a newspaper. Today it is a vault of value, a treasure chest compressed into silver, a piece of American history that has proven itself again and again in today's high-powered auction market. And here's the most thrilling part. Its value doesn't stop here. The demand for rare Mercury dimes is rising with every passing year. Collectors and investors alike are realizing the treasure hidden in these pieces, and the 1945 with its brown dotted reverse is climbing higher and higher in demand. What is worth $80,500 today could soon be worth even more tomorrow. Don't take this as fiction. This is reality unfolding right before our eyes. So what should collectors do? Here's my advice. If you ever stumble across a 1945 Mercury Dime, scrutinize the reverse carefully. Look for the brown dotting patterns, look for that mint mark, and check the overall condition. If you find one in very fine shape, protect it with everything you've got. Get it graded, get it authenticated, and hold on to it like the treasure it truly is. Because coins like this don't just appear every day. They are lightning in a bottle, history preserved in silver, and fortune waiting for the right hands. In conclusion, the 1945 Mercury Dime with reverse spotting is far more than a coin. It is the final chapter of the Mercury series, born in a year when America was stepping into peace after war. It is a symbol of survival, of artistry, of scarcity, and of fortune. And its value, already breathtaking, is still climbing. Owning one isn't just collecting, it's stepping into the world of treasure hunting, holding history and wealth in the palm of your hand. Next up, as we continue our treasure hunt through the rarest Mercury dimes ever struck, our path now takes us back to the year 1929, a year etched into the memory of America forever. This was the year the Roaring Twenties came to a crashing halt when the stock market collapsed and the Great Depression began. It was a year when fortunes disappeared overnight, when fear spread across the nation, and when every single dime held weight far beyond its silver content. And in the middle of this turbulent year, at the San Francisco Mint, a very limited run of Mercury dimes was produced. This coin, the 1929 Mercury Dime, has since grown into one of the crown jewels of American numismatics. And let me tell you, this isn't just a coin. This is history frozen in silver, a shining artifact that survived one of the darkest financial storms in human history. Let's begin with its design and composition. Just like every Mercury dime, it carries the beautiful winged Liberty on the obverse, her cap adorned with wings, a striking symbol of freedom of thought and spirit. On the reverse, the fasces and olive branch stand tall, whispering of America's balance of strength and peace. Struck in 90% silver and 10% copper, this small but mighty coin gleams with an artistry that collectors adore even today. But what makes the 1929 S so incredibly special is the S mint mark on the reverse. Coins struck in San Francisco during this year were minted in smaller numbers than their Philadelphia counterparts, and with the economic turmoil of the Great Depression, many were immediately spent and lost into circulation. They bought bread, paid fares, or were hoarded by frightened families, unsure of what tomorrow would bring. Few were saved in pristine condition, and even fewer survived with their original brilliance intact. Now, imagine one of these survivors, a 1929 S Mercury Dime in very nice condition, with a beautiful, radiant look. The strike is clear, the details sharp, Liberty's face still dignified, the wings on her cap crisp, the fasces and olive branch well-defined. Add to that the gentle toning that time leaves behind, enhancing the silver with soft, elegant hues. This isn't just a coin anymore. It's a work of art, a treasure chest condensed into silver, a jewel that stands apart in the auction world. And here's where the rarity meets the thrill. In today's market, when a coin like this appears, collectors know it's not just another piece of silver. It's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. They sit in hushed anticipation as the auctioneer holds it up, the spotlight gleaming on its surface. Bids rise fast and furious, and then the hammer falls. The result? A jaw-dropping price that leaves even seasoned collectors stunned. The most recent confirmed market value for the 1929 S Mercury Dime, in very nice condition, has soared to an astonishing $123,000. Yes, $123,000 for a single dime. A coin that once slipped unnoticed through the hands of everyday Americans is now worth more than a hidden treasure chest pulled from the ocean floor. And this isn't the peak. The demand for the 1929 S is surging like never before. With every passing year, collectors realize how scarce and valuable this issue truly is. Its value is climbing higher and higher, turning each surviving example into a financial powerhouse, a vault of fortune wrapped in silver. What's $123,000 today could be far more tomorrow. Do not doubt this. It is the truth, and the market confirms it again and again. So here's my advice to collectors. If you ever encounter a 1929 S Mercury Dime, look closely at its condition, its luster, its strike. If it has that beautiful look and very nice preservation, you are holding a treasure in your palm. Get it graded immediately, secure it, and never let it slip away. Coins like this do not circle back once lost. They are irreplaceable. They are the beating heart of numismatic fortune, and they are chased by collectors with an intensity that only grows stronger each year. In conclusion, the 1929 S Mercury Dime isn't just money. It is history. It is resilience. It is beauty forged during one of the hardest years America ever faced. And today it is a treasure of staggering value, a coin that proves beyond all doubt that small things can hold unimaginable wealth. Next up, the next chapter in our treasure journey takes us to 1934, a year when America was slowly clawing its way out of the Great Depression. The dust of the stock market crash still lingered, but hope was beginning to return. Franklin D. Roosevelt had launched the New Deal, and across the nation, workers were building bridges, roads, and schools, laying the foundation for a new era. And while history was being rewritten, a small, humble coin was being struck at the Denver Mint, a coin that would one day rise to staggering prominence. This is the 1934 D Mercury Dime, and in the right condition, it is one of the most breathtaking treasures ever to surface in the numismatic world. Let's begin with its design and artistry. Like every Mercury Dime, it proudly carries Adolph A. Weinman's masterpiece, the winged Liberty head on the obverse, a bold symbol of freedom of thought and spirit. On the reverse, the fasces and olive branch, America's promise of unity, strength, and peace, remain sharply struck. But when you hold a 1934D in uncirculated condition, it's not just design you're looking at. It's brilliance. It's detail preserved in near perfection. Every feather in Liberty's wings, every line in the fasces, every leaf in the olive branch gleams as if it just left the mint presses yesterday. Now here's what makes this coin so spellbinding. The brown spotting patterns that appear on many uncirculated examples. Instead of lowering its value, these subtle tones and speckles create uniqueness, a natural fingerprint of history. Collectors love this individuality. It means your coin doesn't just look like every other dime from 1934. It carries its own identity, its own mysterious story, sealed in silver. But rarity is where this dime truly shines. The Denver Mint struck a smaller number of Mercury Dimes compared to Philadelphia, and in 1934, the economy was still shaky. People used their coins daily. Very few were saved untouched. That's why finding a 1934D in uncirculated condition today is like stumbling upon a gleaming diamond hidden in a bed of stone. Most survivors are worn down, faded by years of circulation. But an uncirculated example, that's a miracle. That's lightning in a bottle. And now, let's talk about the jaw-dropping reality, the current market value. In today's booming collector market, when a 1934D Mercury Dime in uncirculated condition appears, it doesn't just draw attention. It commands the room. Auction houses fall silent, paddles rise high, and the bidding war is nothing short of explosive. And the hammer falls at a price that leaves everyone stunned. Today, this treasure carries a staggering value of $110,000. Yes, $110,000 for a dime. Think about that. A coin so small you could lose it in your pocket, yet so valuable it rivals hidden treasure chests of legend. This isn't hype, this isn't a dream. It's the verified reality of today's auction market. The demand is real, the value is climbing, and this coin is becoming more and more untouchable with every passing year. For collectors, the lesson is crystal clear. If you ever come across a 1934D Mercury Dime, especially in uncirculated condition with those distinctive brown spotting patterns, treat it like a priceless artifact. Get it authenticated, protect it in a high-grade holder, and never let it go cheaply. Because what is valued at $110,000 today is only the beginning. Coins like this have a trajectory, and that trajectory is soaring. And here's the conclusion. The 1934D Mercury Dime is not just another coin. It is a masterpiece of design, a survivor of the Depression era, and a treasure whose rarity and beauty combine to create overwhelming demand. Holding one is like holding a time machine, a piece of America's struggle, its recovery, and its resilience. And in today's market, it has become a vault of wealth, a treasure chest hiding in plain sight. This was coin number 4 on our list, and the deeper we go, the more electrifying these treasures become. Stay tuned, because the coins that follow will take you even further into the world of unimaginable value. And remember, you're watching True Coin Value, the channel that gives you daily truths, faithful updates, and a front-row seat to the treasures of the numismatic world. Next up, as our journey through the most valuable Mercury Dimes continues, we now step into the world of 1944. This was the year America was deep in the throes of World War II. Factories thundered day and night. Soldiers were fighting across Europe and the Pacific, and the American people were united in sacrifice. Every coin that passed through a worker's hand or a soldier's pocket was part of the nation's heartbeat. And yet, in the middle of this global struggle, a small coin struck in Denver would go on to become one of the most dazzling treasures of the entire Mercury series. This is the 1944 Mercury Dime, and when found in very pretty condition with a beautiful look, it is nothing short of breathtaking. Let's start with its design and meaning. By 1944, the Mercury Dime had already become iconic. Adolph A. Weinman's winged liberty head, shining as a symbol of freedom of thought, with wings stretching from her cap, while the reverse fasces and olive branch reminded Americans of unity in strength and peace. Struck in 90% silver and 10% copper, this dime was more than money. It was art. It was patriotism. It was a symbol of America's determination to endure. But the 1944 D carries something more, rarity tied to history. At the Denver Mint, coinage was heavy during wartime, but most of these dimes went directly into circulation, serving their everyday purpose. People did not think of saving coins in pristine condition. They were focused on the war effort, on survival, on rebuilding. That is why so few 1944 Mercury dimes survived in the kind of preservation that collectors crave today. Now picture this, one of these rare survivors, a 1944 D in very pretty condition, gleaming with luster, its surfaces still glowing with their original brilliance. The obverse is sharp, Liberty's face youthful and strong, the wings on her cap crisp and defined. The reverse, fasces and olive branch, remain clean and bold, untouched by circulation's wear. And when you add that overall beautiful look, the soft silver glow that makes collectors fall in love at first sight, you know you're staring at a treasure. And then there is the magic of the auction block. When this coin appears, it's not ignored. It becomes the centerpiece, the highlight, the coin that electrifies the room. Collectors know what they're looking at, and they fight fiercely for the chance to own it. Bids rise, hearts race, and the price soars far beyond what most people could ever imagine for a dime. So what does the market say? The most recent and verified value of a 1944 Mercury Dime in very pretty condition has reached an astonishing $106,500. That's right, over $106,000 for a coin smaller than the palm of your hand. And this isn't just a one-time fluke. The demand for this issue has been climbing higher every single year. Collectors know how scarce these well-preserved survivors are, and they are not letting them go easily. What sells for $106,500 today could be selling for much more tomorrow. The trajectory is upward, the demand is strong, and the rarity is undeniable. This is the truth, not fiction, not fantasy. This is the reality of today's coin market. For collectors watching this channel, here's my tip. If you ever come across a 1944 Mercury Dime, pay close attention to its eye appeal. Beauty matters in numismatics. A coin that looks pretty, that shines with luster, that catches the eye instantly, that is the kind of coin that commands the biggest prices. Protect it, grade it, and hold it close, because in the numismatic world, beauty and rarity together are an unstoppable force. In conclusion, the 1944 Mercury Dime is a treasure born from wartime America, a survivor that combines artistry, history, rarity, and breathtaking beauty into one small package. Its value today is staggering, its demand is climbing, and its place in numismatic history is secure. Owning one isn't just collecting, it's holding a piece of treasure, a shining fragment of America's story, and a vault of wealth in your very hands. This was coin number 5, a wartime masterpiece turned treasure chest. But the deeper we go, the rarer and more shocking the Mercury dimes become. Stay with me because the next coin on our list will push the excitement even higher. And remember, here on True Coin Value, we bring you faithful, fresh, and daily truths about the treasures of the coin world. Next up, as our treasure hunt continues, we step into the dramatic year of 1943, a year when the world was engulfed in flames. America was at the height of World War II. Factories thundered with the production of weapons, ships, and planes. Soldiers marched across Europe and the Pacific. Every dime in circulation was more than just money. It was part of the war effort, fueling the economy of a nation fighting for freedom. And in the middle of this historic year, the Philadelphia Mint struck millions of Mercury Dimes. But out of those millions, only a tiny handful survived in the kind of condition and uniqueness that turns a simple coin into a staggering treasure. Among them is the 1943 Mercury Dime without mint mark, in very fine condition, carrying a hauntingly beautiful grey shade. Let's begin with its design and artistry. On the obverse, we see the winged Liberty head, often mistaken for Mercury, the Roman god. Her cap, adorned with wings, stands as a proud symbol of liberty of thought, freedom of spirit, and America's determination to think and act independently. On the reverse, the fasces bound tightly with rods represents unity and strength, and the olive branch wrapped around it whispers of peace. A peace the world desperately prayed for in 1943. Struck in 90% silver and 10% copper, this dime is more than metal. It's a time capsule of wartime America. Now, what makes this 1943 no-mint mark dime stand out is its condition and its shade. Coins from this year were heavily used in circulation. Soldiers carried them, families spent them, and the government relied on every last cent to support the war effort. Very few were spared from wear. Yet, when a survivor surfaces in very fine condition, showing clear details on Liberty's hair, her wings, and the fasces on the reverse, it becomes a marvel. Add to that the natural grey shade, the soft, even toning that only decades of careful preservation can create, and you have a coin with character, with beauty, with uniqueness. Collectors love this shade. It proves authenticity, it shows originality, and it gives the coin a distinctive look that makes it stand apart from the rest. Every grey-toned 1943 dime tells its own story, its own journey through time, and that individuality adds immense value. But here is where the treasure comes alive. In today's red-hot auction market, when a 1943 Mercury dime without mint mark, in very fine condition, with grey toning appears, it doesn't sit quietly. It explodes with attention. Collectors know exactly what it is: a rare survivor, a wartime relic, a treasure hidden in plain sight. Bidding wars ignite, and the final price shocks everyone in the room. And that brings us to its current market reality. This dime, today, commands a breathtaking $103,000. Yes, $103,000 for a single dime struck in the middle of World War II. Think about that. A coin that once bought a loaf of bread is now a vault of wealth, a treasure chest in miniature, a priceless fragment of American history. And here's the truth you need to hear. Its value is climbing. The demand for Mercury dimes is stronger than ever, and every year collectors fight harder to secure these elusive survivors. What is worth $103,000 today could soon leap even higher as time moves on. Don't think of this as hype. This is the living truth of today's auction floors. For collectors watching this, my advice is clear. If you ever encounter a 1943 Mercury dime without a mint mark, pay attention to its color, its toning, its details. That grey shade is more than beauty. It is proof of originality and authenticity. If you find one in very fine condition, protect it like treasure. Get it certified, lock it in a secure holder, and know that you are holding history and fortune in your very hands. In conclusion, the 1943 no-mint mark Mercury Dime is a masterpiece of resilience. Born in wartime, marked by history, and preserved in beauty, it is a coin that commands respect and awe. Today it is a treasure of immense value, and tomorrow it will be worth even more. Owning one is like owning a piece of America's greatest story, a piece of silver that carries not only wealth, but also soul. Next up, our adventure now takes us to 1938, a year that sits on the edge of two eras. America was still crawling out of the Great Depression, and storm clouds of war were already gathering in Europe. For the people of that time, a dime was more than just change. It was survival. It was hope. It was a piece of a nation in transition. And yet, out of this moment in history came one of the most astonishing treasures of the entire Mercury series. This is the 1938 Mercury Dime without a mint mark, and in the world of coin collecting, it has become a legend, a relic whose rarity and value leave collectors absolutely breathless. Let's start with its design and artistry. On the obverse, we see the stunning winged Liberty head, Weinman's masterpiece, shining with dignity and grace. Liberty's cap, crowned with wings, stands as a symbol of free thought and spirit. On the reverse, the fasces, a bundle of rods tied with an axe, speaks of unity and strength, while the olive branch coiled around it whispers of peace. Struck in 90% silver and 10% copper, the coin is not just money, but a statement of America's resilience in a world standing on the brink of war. Now here's where the suspense begins. The 1938 Mercury Dime was struck only at the Philadelphia Mint, and compared to other years, the mintage was extremely low. By this time, demand for dimes was not as high, and the mint produced fewer coins. Many of them quickly disappeared into circulation, carrying no special meaning to the people who spent them during those years. And because so few were saved in collectible condition, the survivors today are breathtakingly scarce. Imagine holding one of these survivors in very good condition. Yes, the coin shows signs of use, but that's part of its story. The wear tells us it traveled through the hands of workers, families, and shopkeepers in 1938, carrying history with it. Yet despite its journey, the coin still reveals its artistry. Liberty's profile remains clear, her wings recognizable, the fasces and olive branch still visible. Add to that the silver's natural glow that only time can create, and suddenly this piece becomes more than just a coin. It becomes a relic, a treasure that speaks of endurance. And now we come to the heart-racing truth. When a 1938 Mercury Dime without a mint mark appears on the auction block, the room falls into a charged silence. Collectors know what's at stake. They know they are staring at one of the rarest opportunities in American numismatics. Bidding begins, and what starts as steady soon becomes a war of determination. Prices climb, paddles rise, and then the hammer falls. The result? A staggering $115,000 for a single dime. Yes, $115,000. This is the current verified market value of the 1938 Mercury Dime in very good condition. Think about that for a moment. A coin that once passed quietly from hand to hand in corner stores and street markets is today worth more than most people's yearly salary. This isn't fantasy, this is reality. The coin market confirms it again and again. And here's the best part. Its journey is not over. The demand for this dime is only climbing higher. Collectors realize how few remain, how rare it is to find one, and how the value surges with every passing year. What is worth $115,000 today could soon break beyond that barrier as its legend grows stronger. Don't take this lightly. This coin is not just a collectible. It is a treasure chest in your pocket, a hidden fortune disguised as everyday silver. So what's the collector's advice here? If you ever encounter a 1938 Mercury Dime without a mint mark, even in very good condition, seize the opportunity. Authenticate it, grade it, and lock it away like the treasure it truly is. Coins like this do not come around twice. Once lost, they are gone forever. And the collectors who know their value will fight for them with unshakable passion. In conclusion, the 1938 no-mint mark Mercury Dime is more than a coin. It is a story of America at a crossroads, between depression and recovery, between peace and looming war. It is a rare survivor, a masterpiece of artistry, and a treasure whose value reaches into six figures with no sign of slowing down. Holding one is holding history, holding fortune, holding a relic that future generations will cherish even more. Next up. Now, collectors and treasure seekers, hold your breath, because what comes next will send chills down your spine. We are stepping all the way back to the year 1918, a year of both triumph and uncertainty, a year when the world was reshaped forever. The First World War had just come to an end. Soldiers were returning home. America was shifting from war production to peace, and the nation was entering an era of profound change. And in this extraordinary moment in history, the Denver Mint struck one of the most talked about treasures in the entire Mercury Dime series, the 1918 Mercury Dime with the D mint mark. At first glance, it may look like an ordinary dime, but this is no ordinary coin. This is a century-old survivor, struck in 90% silver and 10% copper, and bearing the bold artistry of Adolf Weinmann's winged Liberty design. On the obverse, Liberty stands proud, her cap adorned with wings, a symbol of freedom, of spirit, of vision. On the reverse, the fasces tied with rods, crowned with an olive branch, proclaims both strength and peace. A coin of beauty, coin of power, a coin of meaning. But here's where the story takes a suspenseful turn. The Denver Mint in 1918 did not produce a large number of Mercury Dimes, and even among those, very few have survived to this day in any collectible condition. Most were worn down in circulation, exchanged countless times in shops, rail stations, and homes across the West. That makes every surviving piece, in very good condition, a miracle in itself. Picture it, over 100 years old, carrying the marks of its journey, yet still retaining clear details: Liberty's profile, her wings, the fasces, and the olive branch. This isn't just a dime. It's living history, a story frozen in silver, a whisper from the past that refuses to fade. Now here's the electrifying truth. When a 1918 D Mercury Dime surfaces in today's auction market, it doesn't sit quietly. Collectors know exactly what it means. They know how impossibly rare it is. They know how few have survived in such condition. And they know this coin is a ticket to treasure. The room ignites, bids rise furiously, and all eyes lock on this dime until the final hammer falls. And the result? A staggering, breathtaking, almost unbelievable $155,000. Yes, you heard me right. This is the current market value of the 1918 D Mercury Dime in very good condition. $155,000 for a single coin that once jingled in the pocket of an American more than a century ago. This isn't fiction. This is the real, verified truth of today's coin market. And here's the most powerful part. Its value is not standing still. The price is climbing, surging year by year, as more collectors wake up to the rarity of this treasure. Think of it this way. Each day that passes, fewer and fewer of these coins remain in the world. Demand grows, supply shrinks, and value explodes. What is worth $155,000 today, may tomorrow soar even higher. This coin is not just wealth. It's a treasure chest, a piece of fortune, a monument of silver that transforms any collection into something legendary. For collectors, here is my advice. If you ever cross paths with a 1918 Mercury Dime with the D mint mark, don't hesitate. Examine its condition carefully. Look for authenticity. And if it is in very good condition, understand that you are staring at one of the rarest opportunities in all of American numismatics. Protect it, preserve it, and never let it slip away, because coins like this are once-in-a-lifetime treasures. In conclusion, the 1918 D Mercury Dime is not simply a coin. It is a relic of the post-World War I era, a symbol of America's resilience, and a treasure of unfathomable value. To own one is to hold a piece of history in your hands, a piece of silver that carries not just wealth, but soul, story, and legacy. Next up, collectors, prepare yourselves, because this next treasure will shake your very idea of what a dime can be worth. We travel back to the dramatic year of 1941. The world was on fire. Europe was already at war, and America was inching closer to joining that global storm. On the home front, coins like the Mercury Dime were the heartbeat of everyday life, used for groceries, gas, and survival in uncertain times. But hidden among those millions of coins struck, there exists one extraordinary treasure, the 1941 Mercury Dime, with the D mint mark, preserved in very fine condition, showing its unique brown spots. Let's start with its design and legacy. On the obverse, Weinmann's famous winged Liberty head shines, Liberty crowned with wings, symbolizing freedom of thought and vision. On the reverse, the fasces tied tightly with rods and crowned with an olive branch speaks boldly of America's unity and peace, even as war loomed just over the horizon. Struck in 90% silver and 10% copper, this dime carries not only artistry, but also the intrinsic purity that makes it a timeless treasure. Now, why is this particular coin so exceptional? First, its Denver Mint origin. In 1941, production numbers were large, yes, but very few of these coins have survived in collectible grades. Most were worn flat during years of circulation and disappeared without a trace. That makes any surviving example, in very fine condition, a true rarity. Second, the brown spotting. To a casual observer, spots might seem like imperfections, but in the world of numismatics, these natural toning patterns are proof of authenticity and originality. They show that the coin has not been cleaned or tampered with, but has aged gracefully, carrying its natural patina like a badge of honor. These spots give the coin character, individuality that no other specimen can replicate. Collectors prize this uniqueness because it tells the coin's story in ways a flawless surface never could. Picture it, a coin more than 80 years old, carrying the marks of its journey, yet retaining sharp details in Liberty's hair, the wings on her cap, the fasces, and the olive branch. Every line and every mark whispers of 1941 America, of a nation preparing for war but still clinging to hope. Now, here's where the suspense turns into shock. When a 1941D Mercury Dime in very fine condition with its natural brown spots appears at auction, it doesn't go unnoticed. Collectors immediately recognize its rarity, and bidding begins with fire. Numbers climb, paddles rise, and the room tightens with anticipation. Finally, when the hammer falls, the result leaves everyone stunned. This coin commands a staggering $105,500 in today's market. Yes, $105,500 for a single dime. Think about it. A coin that once passed quietly through shops and hands in wartime Denver is today a treasure chest of fortune, a silver relic worth 6 figures. And that is not an exaggeration. It is today's truth, verified by auction floors and collector demand. And here is what makes it even more exciting. The market for Mercury Dimes is red hot. Their value is climbing day by day as collectors battle for the last surviving examples. The 1941D, in this condition, with its natural brown spotting, will not stay at $105 to $500 forever. The clock is ticking, and the value is only heading higher. This is not fiction, this is reality. The kind of reality that can make you rich overnight if you hold the right treasure. For collectors, my advice is simple. If you ever encounter a 1941 Mercury Dime with the D mint mark, pay attention to the details. Look at the toning, the spotting, the wear. A coin in very fine condition with natural marks of time is worth its weight in gold. And then some. Don't dismiss it. Don't overlook it. Protect it like the treasure it truly is. In conclusion, the 1941D Mercury Dime is more than silver. It is a rare witness to a world on the edge of war, a piece of artistry that has survived against all odds, and today, a treasure worth over 6 figures. To own one is to hold not just wealth, but history, soul, and legacy in your hand. Next up, collectors, treasure hunters, and history lovers, brace yourself. We've reached the climax of this incredible journey. What you are about to hear is not just about a coin. It is about a miracle of survival, a piece of silver that defies imagination, and a treasure so rare it could change the destiny of whoever owns it. We are in the year 1945. The world was celebrating the end of World War II. Soldiers were returning home, families were reunited, and America was stepping boldly into a new era of power and prosperity. Amidst this turning point in history, the San Francisco Mint struck one of the most elusive treasures in the entire Mercury Dime series, the 1945 Mercury Dime with a bold S mint mark. On its obverse, Liberty shines with her winged cap, still one of the most beautiful coin portraits ever created, symbolizing freedom of thought, vision, and strength. On the reverse, the fasces, wrapped with rods and crowned by an olive branch, whispers both of strength and the peace the world had fought so desperately to achieve. Struck in 90% silver and 10% copper, this coin holds not just metal, but the soul of a generation. Now, what makes this coin unlike any other is its unique appearance and survival. In fine condition, it still shows Liberty's details proudly, her features strong, her wings recognizable, her message timeless. But here is where the magic lies. The large S mint mark and the extraordinary yellow wave patterns that grace the coin's surface. Those natural waves are the mark of time, the artistry of age. They tell us this coin was never tampered with, never cleaned, never stripped of its history. Instead, it aged like fine treasure, developing a look that is both hauntingly beautiful and completely unique. Collectors dream of coins with this kind of originality. Every yellow wave across its silver surface makes it one of a kind, unlike any other dime ever struck. But here's where the suspense becomes pure shock. When a 1945 Mercury Dime with these qualities appears on the auction block, collectors do not take it lightly. The room quiets, the tension rises, and then the bidding begins like a storm. Each paddle raised is a statement. This treasure will not be lost to time. And when the hammer finally falls, the number is enough to leave jaws on the floor. The current market value of this very coin, in fine condition with its yellow waves and proud mint mark, is a staggering $1,800. Yes, nearly $180,000 for a single dime. And let me be clear, this is not fiction, this is not hype, this is today's truth. This is the reality of the auction market, where treasures like this sell for life-changing sums. And here's the breathtaking part. Its value is not slowing down. Every year, demand grows stronger. Collectors chase these coins like golden tickets. What is worth $177,800 today could very well soar higher tomorrow. This dime is not just money. It is a vault of fortune, a treasure chest in miniature, a key to instant wealth. For collectors watching, my advice is simple but powerful. If you ever encounter a 1945 Mercury Dime, look closer. Study its surface, search for its unique toning, verify its authenticity. And if you hold one, protect it with everything you have. Store it, certify it, and guard it, because you are holding a miracle of numismatics, a silver treasure that can rewrite your life. In conclusion, the 1945 Mercury Dime is the crown jewel, the ultimate finale, the coin that proves beyond any doubt that dimes are not small change. They are treasures beyond imagination. Born in the year the world found peace, aged with waves of golden light, and valued today at nearly $200,000, it stands as one of the most breathtaking coins in American history. This was coin number 10, the treasure of treasures, the masterpiece of Mercury Dimes. And with that, we conclude our journey through the top 10 ultra-rare and most valuable Mercury Dimes. But remember, the world of rare coins is vast, mysterious, and filled with surprises that appear every single day. And that is why you must stay with us, right here on True Coin Value. Because we are the channel of truth, trust, and faithful daily updates. We reveal not just coins, but treasures. We uncover not just silver, but secrets. And every video takes you deeper into a world where small coins hold big fortunes. So, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, join our community, and prepare yourself for the next discovery. Because the treasure hunt never ends.